Hey everyone, chaomix here. We all have our own equivalent to the blue arms pet peeve. That one thing that you absolutely can't stand. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. For most people, there's probably a handful of things from the Sonic series that you somewhat dislike but don't fret too much over. But then there's just that one thing that crosses the line. However major or insignificant it might be, it's usually something that gets on your last nerve whenever mentioned. Now, like the whole blue arms fiasco, some of these annoyances can be petty, but nonetheless, there's still opinions that can be worthy of discussion. I've recently realized that I have a few of these exact types of pet peeves myself. And yeah, some of them are extremely inconsequential, yet for some reason I feel so strongly about them. Though there are also some that I'm sure many other people can agree with. One of them being that people who aren't subscribed to chaomix need to rethink some of their life choices. Hey, but don't worry, I have a really easy fix for that. Just make sure to take a second and hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all the latest weekly Sonic discussion videos on this channel. I promise you, you won't regret it. But anyways, today I want to go over some of these criticisms I have with the Sonic series, big or small. Like I said earlier, some of these are going to be a little bit nitpicky, so keep that in mind when trying to own me epic style in the comments. Here are 3 things from the Sonic series that I absolutely can't stand.
Number 1.
Wisps. There's nothing that sends me more into a primal, seething rage than wisps in a Sonic game. These little bastards are honestly underhated. I've casually brought up the fact that I hate these horrid abominations in a few of my videos, but never went too in-depth about why. Well, now's the perfect opportunity to put these little shits on blast, and I'm not about to pull any punches here. The wisps were first introduced in Sonic Colors, and they were the main focus of the plot. Now, if you've been following this channel for a while now, you'll know that I'm not the biggest fan of Colors. It wasn't a bad game or anything, but the huge tonal shift actually turned me off from the entire Sonic series for years. But even I have to admit that their existence here is at least justified. Ugh, that caused me physical pain to say. What really gets on my nerves is how, despite the entire plot of Sonic Colors being to free the wisps and send them back to their home planet, they continue to be used in gameplay in preceding Sonic games. And mind you, these preceding Sonic games take place back on Earth, or Mobius or whatever. The whole two-world statement is complete dog shit and doesn't make any sense. So why are the wisps on Earth trapped in capsules after Colors? It's literally never explained, and I can't really recall any instances of the characters even acknowledging the fact that they've infested their own planet. Get the rat poison! So not only does their inclusion in preceding games not make any sense lore-wise, but just to add insult to injury, their gameplay gimmicks frankly aren't even that great. The one interesting thing about the wisp abilities is the variety, but it largely focuses on quantity over quality. I'm seriously struggling to think of a wisp ability that I genuinely love. Some of the cooler abilities include being able to drill around in the dirt, the laser one can be alright sometimes, and I guess being able to stick to the walls and spin dash is okay. But other than some of those, there's a lot that are just so basic, like the ones that fill your boost gauge, something originally done by just collecting rings. Or the one from Chicken Little that sends you straight up. The abilities can be really hit or miss in terms of creativity, but the main concern with the gameplay comes from how restricted you are when using wisps. You can only use their power-ups during specific sections where the game provides you with them. Sure, you can store them to use later on in that level, but you can only hold on to one at a time. And when you finally use them, their ability only lasts a few moments before running out. Let's compare the wisps to another iteration of power-ups like the power shields. These shields give you unique powers like the ability to double jump, lunge forward and set terrain on fire, or bounce. Sure, they're pretty basic, but they complement Sonic's own base moveset and stay with the player as long as they don't get hit, rewarding skillful play. You can also compare them to the upgrades from the Sonic Adventure games. These upgrades were usually permanent additions to Sonic's mobility. With both the power shields and upgrades, they could essentially be used at any point in the level, given that you had them. Players were able to get creative and find ways to use these abilities and make their own shortcuts. It allowed them to really experiment with the extra mobility to explore any given point of the map in unique ways. Of course, there were certain sections that were specifically tailored for if you had a certain power-up or not, but there were a ton of sections where you could use them in a really free-form sandbox way to explore and find shortcuts. The wisps are placed in very specific sections because the developers want you to use them there, usually in very specific and linear ways. There just isn't too much room for the more sandbox gameplay with the wisps, and it's kind of the complete opposite gameplay philosophy compared to how power-ups were handled before. The wisp designs are just as uncreative as their abilities. It's basically random shape, random color, random assortment of eyes, tentacles, boom. You got yourself a new wisp. And they're not even cute. It's like if you took those creepy little marshmallow demons from Boobas and gave them tentacles. Yeah, I'm a pass. Their designs just don't look like they're from a Sonic game. They look like something out of the Minions franchise or some weird cheap DreamWorks animated movie. They're so out of place in the Sonic universe, and not even in the same way that realistic humans are standing next to Sonic characters. At least that last one is something that I can get behind. The polarizing art styles are pretty appealing, and it's been used in several pretty iconic movies to pretty large success. The difference in the art styles between the Wisps and Sonic characters isn't even polarizing, it's just slightly off-brand, which bugs the shit out of me. If only there was an already established race of cute alien babies that Sonic Team could have used for the driving force of the plot for Sonic Colors in every game after. Something that fans actually care for and have been asking to return for years and years. Nope, can't think of anything that fits that criteria. Yeah, these guys kind of replaced the Chao. We've had spin-off games technically including both Chao and Wisps at the same time, but in an actual mainline game, I could never see them both being in and relevant to the gameplay and plot. Wisps are a disease to our planet and should be eradicated immediately.
Number 2.
The Zeddy. The Zeddy made their first appearance in Sonic Lost World. This game is often criticized for its uninspired art direction, with many people accusing it of basically ripping off of the Mario series. This also applies to the character designs of the main villains of the game. The Zeddy are a demon race native to the planet Lost Hex, the main planet that Sonic Lost World takes place on. Yeah, that's already making them sound way cooler than they actually are. They're a group of cartoony, bumbling idiots with one-dimensional personalities based off of the way they look. You got the fat guy whose entire personality is based off of eating, or the girl whose whole personality is being pretty. See this sad-looking guy? Take a guess at what his personality is. He's sad. Also, in a very similar way to the Wisps, their designs are just off-brand. Their proportions, their body types, the colors, it's just not something you'd normally see in a Sonic game. You'd usually expect some animal character with some accessories like gloves and shoes, but these guys don't even have any of those. The best you're gonna get is that 3 of them have some spiky Bowser bracelets. The Zeddy just aren't designed to be Sonic characters. Now, the Zeddy are generally pretty inoffensive and wouldn't even be on this list if it weren't for one guy in particular, Zavok. Again, in a similar fashion to the Wisps, Zavok has really overstayed his welcome. He's the leader of the group of Zeddy we've been talking about, known as the Deadly Six. While I wouldn't say that he has the worst design out of the group, he's definitely the most blatant when it comes to ripping off of Mario. Sonic Team really saw Bowser and asked if they could copy off of Nintendo's homework if they just changed it a bit. I guess it's fine within Lost World since the whole game looks like it was ripped straight from Mario. Except Zavok is included in basically every other game after Lost World, and he sticks out like a sore thumb when next to all of these other characters in these more Sonic-like environments. It's so weird too, because Lost World sold horribly, and usually when this happens, Sonic Team gets scared and loves to scrap every idea from said game from existence. But nope, not with Zavok. He's in a bunch of Sonic spin-off games and even makes an appearance in Sonic Forces. Yeah, the whole point of Sonic Forces was to bring back all of the big villains of this series to fight against Sonic. But when I imagine big villains, I imagine the big villains, not this chump. We got Metal Sonic, who's capable of matching Sonic's speed and power, Chaos Zero, who's leveled an entire city, and Shadow the freaking Hedgehog, someone who nearly obliterated the entire human race. Seeing this dollar store Bowser looking ass standing next to all of these amazing villains is like the worst insult of all time. Besides, what does this guy even do? I was just trying to...
Don't talk! You can't talk! Chunky, the mouth on the... Don't come over by me! Stay over there! Figure out what you do! You had all summer to think of it!
They were enslaved by Eggman for a while, regained control, and then what? Why does Zavok want to take over the world? His motivations are so weak, and his abilities are even weaker. He can spit out fireballs, shoot lasers, and grow really big. Huh, I wonder where I've seen literally every one of those abilities on a single specific character before. Nothing's really coming to mind. Besides being completely unoriginal, they're literally the most generic abilities that I can think of. Couldn't even copy something actually interesting. On top of this, his existence and abilities do nothing to expand the lore of the series. Even Infinite at least does this, and Infinite is a horrible villain. Everything about Zavok's conception just screams, nah, we didn't even try. So why does Sonic Team keep bringing him back? It's like they think shoving him down our throats will eventually get us to finally like him. And they just aren't getting the hint. We don't want what they're selling. Sonic Team, stop pushing your Zavok agenda. You're never going to make him work.
Number 3.
Sonic Team insisting that Sonic should be a comedy. This applies to pretty much all of the different forms of Sonic media, not just the games. Ever since the change to Roger Craig Smith, I feel like the entire series has taken a very different angle with its tone, strongly leaning into comedy. Lately, it just feels like everything has to be a joke, meme, or pun for some reason. Don't get me wrong, I love memes and posts as much as the next guy, but it's so bizarre to see from the same series that had things like this.
Maria!
You've got the countless corny jokes in Sonic Colors, Lost World, and Forces, the entirety of Sonic Boom, especially the tie-in TV show, and even the Sonic social media all contributing to this new image that Sonic is supposed to be funny. Sonic is not a comedy. As far as the recent mainline games go, we all know the writing is terrible. But let's talk specifically about the character interactions and dialogue for a second. Sonic can barely go 2 lines without spouting some stupid pun or sarcastic crack, even when the game is trying to be serious for just a second. And they all come across as these really PG-13 restricted insults. It's totally different from the playful and sarcastic banter the characters would exchange in the earlier voice-acted games. Don't get me wrong, they can still be a bit cheesy, but it's the way that they're delivered and the actual intense circumstances the characters are in when saying these things that make them so much cooler. Let me just play you some examples for comparison.
Talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies. I'm out of here. I like running better.
Hey, Tails, you missed the BBBE.
Huh?
Best boss beating ever.
Put the emerald down right there and back off. You've turned into a big-time villain, Doctor.
Well, maybe by myself, but I had a little help from my friend. Something you wouldn't understand since you don't have any friends.
This just makes it so much harder to take these games seriously, and I think it's one of the biggest reasons why the attempt Sonic Forces made to actually make a more serious game completely blew up in its face. You blew it. You also have Sonic Boom. The games are filled with dialogue on par with the other games we were just talking about. But there's also the tie-in television show, which is specifically and strictly a comedy. Now, the writing here is actually a lot better than the games, however, the show is a comedy. It doesn't really have an overarching plot as most storylines are contained in single episodes. And there's almost zero action. The fight scenes are so basic and it's almost always Sonic and friends versus Eggman. The events in the show do nothing to push forward the lore and story of the games. Let's compare this format to another Sonic TV show, Sonic X. It had entire story arcs spanning over several episodes, intense anime fight scenes, and actual character depth and progression. I just don't understand why they didn't make something like this for the Sonic Boom TV show. We already tried this with the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and we all know how that went.
Snooping as usual, I see.
It makes me really scared for Sonic Prime, actually. I'm really hoping that they finally try doing something with the stories and write the characters in believable ways that allow them to progress and evolve. I do not want this show to be another comedy that doesn't take itself too seriously or do anything with the characters. Finally, there's the Sonic social media, which isn't too bad, but definitely adds fuel to the fire. They'll make self-deprecating jokes, complete posts, and occasionally full meme-worthy productions. It's usually fine and sometimes actually hilarious, but sometimes the self-aware and fourth wall-breaking jokes get kind of old. And I feel like this humor bleeds into the games sometimes.
Hey, Baldy McNose here. You're toast. Or on toast, like an egg, man.
I can't help but feel like the social media team has some kind of say in the jokes that go into the games or even the YouTube cartoon shorts. It's like they specifically set things up to become internet memes and it's very obvious. But why is Sonic like this now? I think it all stems from the failure of Sonic 06. As we all know, 06 had some pretty dark plot points, and the backlash it received scared Sonic Team from ever doing or writing anything like it ever again. Nowadays, Sonic Team is too afraid to make these types of bold plot points, and whenever they attempt to, they immediately backpedal and cope by throwing bad jokes at us. It's like someone who can't convey their feelings and uses memes to mask their insecurities. God, who would do that? Fans say they want a more serious story, but how can we get there when this has been the tone of the series for an entire decade? Sonic Team insisting that Sonic needs to be funny has made it so difficult to do anything serious with the series for a long time. It's something that, while seemingly harmless, has actually done a ton of damage. And those were the 3 things I absolutely cannot stand about the Sonic series. Some of these opinions were a little bit spicy, and I'm sure not everyone is going to agree on everything. I know for a fact that there's crazy people out there that actually like the Wisps. It's insane. But like I hopefully made clear in the beginning, these are just huge personal nitpicks that I have with the series that definitely matter way less than I'm making them sound. Am I being a big old baby about some of these? Yeah, absolutely. But even so, there's still things that I feel strongly about, and I'm sure others feel the same way. Hey everyone, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. If you liked it, leave a like and subscribe for more content similar to this. I upload on a near weekly basis. In the comments, let me know what you think about my personal nitpicks and let me know what yours are. And to take that discussion even further, make sure to join the community Discord, link in the description. And finally, I'd love to give a huge thank you to my lovely channel backers. You guys are all awesome and the biggest reason I'm able to keep doing YouTube on a weekly basis. If you'd also like to directly support my channel for only $2 and get some pretty cool perks, press the join button beneath this video or go to the video description and press the channel membership link for more information. And with all that out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day. Peace.